Yeah, so we know how to now create a Eclipse. Sorry, create a servlet, isn't it? Mhm. So now we look into the servlet request and response object. So servlet means you need to understand that request and response object and the various methods available in the request and response. Okay, content type, get parameter, all these things. Okay, request dot get port number, get remote port number. We also did that, isn't it? So you got those three files and PPT na, in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, whatever we did yesterday. Okay, so you can just I'll just also add to the cloud also today. So you can access from there. So request and response. So as I told you, web container will create the request and response object. So what is the use of the servlet request? The object of the servlet request is used to provide client request information to the servlet. Okay, it is used to provide the whatever as a client what we are trying to request. Okay, what are those? The content type, the content length, content names and values, header information, attributes, etc. Instead of which, what we did, we got the parameter names. Request dot get parameter. As the name itself tells, the request object is used to get the request information from the client. From the client. Response. So if you want to send the information back to the client, then we'll be using which one? Response object. So how actually it works? So basically, just you can see in the diagram here, user sends a request for a servlet by clicking a link that has a URL to a servlet. Now, for example, form action, we are given that. Form action equals what? Login servlet. So that's the URL of the servlet. So you click on that particular button. Hmm? So client is making what? It might be a request, can be a get or post, whatever. It can be get or post. So now you can just see here, this is a server. What is this? This is a server. We have a server and server has what? Web content. So what is web container people? The component which is what? The component which is handle what? Which will manage servlets and JSP applications. Okay. So even if it is an app server or even if it is a web server. So app server has what? Both EJB server and web server. Whereas Tomcat is only a web server. So here it has a web container. Just look here. So client will make a get request to the web container and servlet is here. So now the container finds the servlet using deployment descriptor or web servlet annotation. Okay. The container, when I make a request, it will go to the container. The container looks for the web XML or this particular annotation and it will create two objects, which is that HTTP servlet response and HTTP servlet request. These two objects are created. So that is what we have in the parameter of what? Do get and do post. Okay, you can just see here. It is creating this particular objects. So request and response objects are created. Okay. It creates two objects, which container. Then container creates or allocates a thread for that request and calls the servlet's service method. Okay. So instead I was telling you the working of the servlet, is it not? So one of servlet object is created, but each request is accessed through which one? The separate thread. So container creates or allocates a thread for that request and calls the servlet's service method and passes the request response objects as arguments. What's the point? So the survey or the servlet is created, isn't it? So through thread, the service method is called and passes the request and response object as arguments. You can just look here. The service method is called, it is passing request and response through thread, and from the thread it is sent to the servlet. So once that is done, the service method then decides which servlet method do get or do post to call based on HTTP request method sent by the client. So init service. The service method only it will pass the request and response object as arguments, and from there it will invoke based on the get or post. Okay, sent by the client. Suppose the client sent an HTTP get request, so the service will call the servlets do get methods. You can just here do get method here. So that is what. So web container creates request and response object. So now it is passed as an argument to which one? Service method. Service method then invokes which one? Do get or do post, post based on the client what he has made. Okay, and then that is passed as a argument. So then the servlet uses the response object to write the response back to the client. Okay, so you can just see here request, then from that the response is sent. For example, just look here to the client. The response is sent back to the client. So once the service method is completed, the thread dies and the request and the response objects are ready for garbage collection. The request and response objects are ready for the garbage collection. But service is still there. Sorry, this one. Servlet is still there. The servlet is still there. Only the request and response objects are destroyed. Okay. So this is what actually happened yesterday. I called a servlet. This already we did yesterday. So I execute a first hello world servlet. What happens? The web container will create request and response object. Before that, the servlet object is also created. Request and response object are created. And from there, init service. Service method will call which one? Do get. And it is passing the request and response object to do get. And based on the client request, what happens? The response is sent. So once that is done, it gets destroyed. Okay. So as I told you yesterday, what is that? Request dot get server name, request dot get port number. So like that, there are other methods of request. Which are those? Get parameter, is it not? So to handle the request, the servlet is used to handle the client request and send the response back. Servlet will handle the client request and send the response back, is it not? So there are two important Java interfaces for that. One is servlet request and HTTP servlet request, and these are the methods. Okay, we can implement that. Get parameter values, get parameter. Now this we used yesterday, is it not? This we used yesterday. Get parameter. So I'll give an example for this also. Server name also we got it. Servlet context also we can just see. So today we will use this set attributes and get attributes. Okay. So this is basically used for inter-servlet communication. Today yesterday what we did? We executed a single servlet. The second example what we did? We executed various request method, port number, server name, etc. The third example, from HTML file, we are linking to which one? Servlets. And to fetch the data from the HTML file to servlet, what we used? Request.get parameter. This much we have done yesterday. So today, from what is that servlet? A login servlet. From login servlet, I need to go to one more servlet. So how we can do that? Using request dispatcher. Okay, that is called as inter-servlet communication. So if I want to pass some data from one servlet to another servlet, then we need to use these methods. Set attribute and get attributes. Set attribute and get attributes are used for what? To pass the data from one servlet to another. From HTML file and then the servlet if you want to pass, we use this get parameter from HTML to servlet. Two servlets now. If you want to communicate between two servlet, and if I want to pass the data from one servlet to another servlet, I'll be using these two methods, which is that set attribute and get attribute. We'll do that today. Okay. So the important methods of the HTTP servlet request. Yeah. So just look here. Response. HTTP uses print writer. Servlet. In servlet, if you want to send a data as a response, then we have to create an object of print writer. So print writer objects get writer method is used to send the data to the client. Okay. So that's why we use the print writer. Yes, people just see here. So I'll show one more example for the get parameter method. Okay. Get parameter. Yesterday it was what actually? A simple form where we are giving username and password. Okay. So here there is a small survey. So I'm using your radio button and some comments. Okay. So how many items do you want to purchase? All this thing stuff. And I'll just put some comments here and just click on submit. Now just look at when you get an error. So just look at 404 not found. So when you get an error, just go to Eclipse and just check your console, people. So server is fine. Just go to the console. So in the console, it may show some error messages. Okay, in the console, it might show some error messages. Just a minute. Shop stop. Okay, now just look at, if you find that everything is perfect, your code is perfect, but in the console also that it is not showing any error, for example. Okay, so what we can do is we can stop the server. You can stop the server once. You stop the server. Then just click on clean. Right click and just select clean. Okay, and again start the server and we'll check it once again. Yes. So now I'm getting an output. The code was perfect. If there was an error in the console, it will show. Okay, what I did, I stopped the server and just cleaned it. Right click and just say clean. So just look here. Survey 01 results. Congratulations, you are qualified for lucky draw. This one. So just look, I'll select this one. Nice shopping. Now, what is this? The same code whatever we have done yesterday, people. Okay. So instead of text boxes, we have put a radio button. We have just put a radio button. You can just look at input type equals radio, radio, radio. Hmm? And we have a submit button. Submit and reset. Just look here, people. There is one hidden text box. There is one hidden text box. There's one hidden text box. Okay, what is this? It is not displayed. Okay, you can just look, see here, na? Value equals survey 01 result. It is not displayed here. We have a heading. What is that heading here? Shop stop survey. This is hidden. But when I submit the survey, I'm getting this survey 01 result. So what is this? We can use the hidden text box to pass the value from a HTML file to servlet. I don't want to display that in the HTML, but I want to pass that to the servlet. So that is why just look at survey 01 results. That value property I've just given it as value 01 results. Okay. So now just look here. Action equals shop stop. What is this? So that's a servlet. Shop stop is a servlet. You should see this, not the class. Okay, we don't have web.xml. The mappings are defined in the annotation here. So you need to always see here. Just look at people, request and response. So just look here. Same thing we are doing today also. Request dot get parameter. Get parameter. Get parameter of which one? RB items, txt comment and survey and storing it in these three variables. Okay. And they're just printing it. Just look here. Here the body color is pink. Congratulate. Yeah. So just look here. S. What is S? Get parameter of survey. What is this survey, people? The name of the hidden text box. Survey is the name of the hidden text box. Okay. So that we're just trying to carry it here. So that is why you're getting that. Fine. So congratulations, you are qualified for your lucky draw, all those things. Number of items purchases is this way. So it will fetch the whatever data you have selected, RB item. Just look here. This is the radio button. So like this. So what you need to understand here, we are getting the request done by the customers. Okay, using what? Request dot get parameter. Request dot get parameter. And we're displaying it. Clear? Yes. So this I'll share it later in the WhatsApp group or in the cloud. Same thing you can try it. Yeah. Yes. So one more example, people. One more example. Hmm? Customer.html. Yeah. So one more example, customer registration form. Okay. So this is a huge form. So in the previous case, we had only two text boxes. In the next case, the radio button and the text box. So now we have check boxes, list box, drop down list, and comments, all those things. Okay. So customer ID, I'm just entering. So he knows C++, Java, and Oracle. So I'm selecting multiple. Okay. So just understand. Okay. And I'll just click on registration. So it is going to which one? Registration, servlet, and it is displaying in a tabular format. Whatever you entered, it's selecting all the three things plus mail. That is fine. Again, whatever items are selected here. Okay. Okay. Branch Bangalore. Okay. That should be some mistake. This we need to correct it. Okay. It's a branch. So what is this? Again, request dot get parameter. Again, it is done using what? Request dot get parameter. So just look at people. Here also form method equals post, registration servlet, action. So just look at name, SID, name, S name. These are all text boxes. And this we have put the checkbox. It also has names. So when radio buttons and checkbox you put na, all the radio buttons and checkbox name should be what? Same. SQL, SQL, like this. It should be same. Here also, radio button, S gender, S gender. Okay, but value will be different. Okay, this way, okay, branch, okay, fine, same. So now we'll go to the registration servlet. We'll go to the registration servlet. You can just see, Anna. Yeah. So what you're trying to do? Same. Request dot get parameter, get parameter. But for this, we are stored an array. We defined a array. Why? You might be having multiple qualifications. The customer can be having multiple qualifications. And again, the method name is different. Get parameter values. Okay. So when you are selecting multiple items through checkboxes or a list box, na, so then you can't use get parameter. Get parameter will get only single. So that's why we're using this method, get parameter values. Okay, from SQL. Similarly, for this also, branch, tech, technology. That's all. Okay. So remember, make a note of this, get parameter values. The next is that then rest are all different, same. One more thing is yes. So it is stored in an array, is it not? This is stored in an array. So if you want to display the contents of an array, what we require? For loop. We require a for loop. So that's why we are traversing it and storing it one string called as query. Okay, so all your data will be stored in a query along with the break. So that's why it's coming in separate lines here. BSc, MCA, PhD like this. And for technology also like that, same way. And now we are printing it. HTML body, font color red, customer details. So just look, I'm putting a table, HTML tags, and we are just printing it. Clear? This is normal thing. So make a note of this. Request dot get parameter values. When you want to fetch a data from a radio button or a checkbox or a list box where multiple options can select. Not radio button. Radio button we can select only one. Checkbox and list box. Checkbox and list box. So hope you're understanding what is the use of servlet. Taking a request from the client through an HTML, processing it and sending the response. That's what we're trying. As of now, only one servlet is there. From HTML to one servlet, in the servlet only we are displaying.